Welcome to Jets Rewind. I'm Marty Schupak in New York. I'm joined by Ralph Schrager, who's up in Massachusetts. Ray Clifford will join us shortly as we just witnessed one of the most horrific games. And Ralph, it seems like we say that every week. It's not hyperbole or whatever, but they lost to the Buffalo Bills 32-6. And listen, they're now at 4-6. I just want to let you people know, and you could say I'm a pessimist, I'm a half-empty glass, but Jet fans, if they're hanging their hat on possibly making the playoffs, this team's not going to make the playoffs. Aaron Rodgers is not going to come back with this offensive line and these receivers. It's just not going to happen. I mean, what we witnessed today was a combination of awful offensive line play, sloppy play by the receivers. I don't know what's his name, Whitehead, Ralph. I can't figure out what that guy's doing out there.
I had 2.5 whiffs. I think he had at least 3 today.
Why is Ashtyn Davis not on the field? I mean, on that touchdown run, he just watched it like he was a spectator. And Sauce Gardner, I know he's frustrated, but I'm starting to think like, he's a great cover guy, but there are parts of his game where he's overrated. We've been saying it since his rookie year, his tackling, and I don't know what he was doing to Diggs in the end zone. He was just hugging him. So, Ralph, give me your immediate impression of the game, and also I'm going to end up doing a shout out after you do. But go ahead.
Yeah, well, I got to do one too because was such a horrible game that the only laugh I got in the whole game was our super fan Matt Lewis was at a Buffalo Bills bar, and when they scored their one touchdown of the year, he got up on a table, did the Jets chant, and got ice thrown at him. So
and tell everybody what city that was in.
Yeah, I'm giving you an A+ for courage and a D- for intelligence. But thank you for giving me the only highlight of the day, Marty. All I can say is, Marty, this season is quickly devolving into a Rich Kotite type deal, and this administration, as far as I'm concerned, is toast.
Yeah, but Ralph, the killer is guys we like and we know have talent. It's like they're catching COVID from the player next door to them. All of a sudden, Garrett Wilson drops the ball.
Can't hold on to anything anymore. Suddenly, it's unbelievable.
When he catches it, he fumbles it. Alan Lazard, he can't catch a cold.
He's the worst receiver I think I've ever seen. He can't catch one clean pass.
And I texted you because somebody texted to me. Did you see those stats about him? He dropped 17% of his passes this year.
I think it's worse than that. I think they've given him a break on
it. I've just never seen anything like it. And if there's the one thing I'll say this is that our coaching staff, especially in offense, we don't know how to scheme or re-scheme or whatever. And Zach Wilson, when he gets about to get sacked and whatever, he just panics going into the next play. And I don't care what anyone tells me, on those screens that aren't open, he gets rid of that ball into the ground too fast.
The only time he doesn't get rid of it fast enough when he's rushed, and then he gets rid of it too fast when he has time. It's really bizarre.
It's just unbelievable. And I was watching a little of the post-game show, and they were mentioning how certain teams do things certain ways. When Josh Rosen wasn't working out, they stepped away from him. And listen, I don't want to hear that they can't win with this offensive line. Do you know how many times Tommy DeVito was sacked today, Ralph?
7?
9 times. He was sacked 9 times. Tommy DeVito was not drafted. 9 times. He threw 3 touchdown passes. We had our first touchdown on offense in a long time, and that was thanks to Breece Hall, who took a short pass and got it into the end zone. I'm just totally disgusted, and I'm really disgusted with Robert Saleh. I'm disgusted with the personnel moves. The personnel moves, as you said, Ralph, in the last podcast, we keep recommending them, but they come in 3 weeks too late. Ray Clifford is joining us. Ray, how are you doing?
About as expected after that performance.
Yeah, you were at your regular Jets bar out in Ohio.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, Ray, what could you say about this game? I mean, no adjustments. no offensive line play. Did you hear what I said to Ralph about Tommy DeVito and the Giants? He
I
sacked
heard you said some 9 sacks. Yeah.
9 sacks, but he still won the game. He threw 3 touchdown passes. I don't want to hear it that you can't win with this offensive line. Now,
Well,
this offensive
I'm
line
not gonna go
stinks.
that further. Yeah.
And I understand, and Ray, you've been a proponent that they cannot develop chemistry. I get that. I understand that. But I knew the whole thing was gonna spiral, Ray, because of course on the opening kickoff, Xavier Gibson, just like I predicted, he just cannot field kickoffs and punts. He should never have been out there. I love the kid, but he shouldn't have been out there. So Ray, give me your reaction to the game.
Well, I don't quite. I remember you saying you didn't want him running out. I don't quite remember your prediction that he was going to fumble it every time or anything like that. But I thought he ran it out too much too. I think once in a while is okay, but you can't. I'd rather.
That was a heck of a hit, though.
No, he got nailed. He got destroyed on that. But he ran it out like 4 times, and I think he made it to the 25 once, and other than that, he got tackled short. My view on the game was it was a typical Nathaniel Hackett called game with it. Every drive has to start. It's must be a requirement with a handoff up the middle to Brees Hall. We got to start every drive that way. He doesn't get creative until he's down by 20 some points at all. Maybe we should try Thomas Morstead as our quarterback.
Yeah, that came up. That
was the best throw.
Yeah. And of course, that defines the Jets and other teams. We stepped out of bounds again, just like Zach Wilson did last week on the play.
Okay,
of course,
it didn't matter. He got the first down.
I know they stayed in bounds on that touchdown run. But Ralph, I just want to ask you a question. On that opening drive with the Jets, on that short pass to Brees Hall, was that behind him or was that catchable? And I don't know why they don't show replay.
They didn't show the replay on that one. It happened really quickly.
On the very first one?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what Romo or Lance said on it.
Nance.
I can't. I couldn't see. I wanted to see that play again.
I had my DVR going. I played it back, and Nance's first words out of his mouth was that pass was not good. And I'm like, what are you talking about? They went right through his hands.
Oh,
yeah. The pass was fine. Brees Hall should have caught.
Yeah.
Right.
The pass was not that bad. Was it absolutely perfect? No, but Nance made it sound like it was a horrible pass, and that's why it was incomplete.
Brees has got the disease too. He drops a couple every game as well.
Yeah.
And Abanikanda dropped the first one. He got thrown to. I'll tell you, Marty, it is contagious, this stuff.
And I'll say this. If there's a fumble on the field by the Jets, the opposition will recover. And if the opposition fumbles, they'll recover their own fumble.
Well, isn't that in the NFL bylaws?
It is. Did you guys see Queenan Williams spout off on Sauce Gardner?
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Yeah,
right?
after that long.
No, I didn't see it, but I'm glad if he did. He shouldn't have tried for a pick on that play, and that was horrendous. I mean, if that's the play when he went off on him or was it on the one when he slammed the guy to the ground?
No, it was the long pass that he tried to undercut. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Terrible decision.
That was horrible. Of course, the Jets made a great decision in letting Ty Johnson walk because I think he's too fast for the Jets backfield.
Well, I always liked Ty Johnson, but as I say all the time, Marty, if he was a Jet, he wouldn't be doing anything.
That's true. You're right. And Ray, I want to ask you a question because Ashton Davis, who should be on the field more, he intercepted that Hail Mary. He started returning it and he fell down.
Yeah.
Do you think if he didn't fall, he had a chance to break it all the way because he would have seen the field a little better? He was ahead of all the fast guys. All he had was fat linemen in front of him and Josh Allen.
Well, Josh Allen's pretty fast too. So
yeah.
He could have. I mean, that's one of those you're not going to know because there would a lot would have had to happen. But with our luck, he
would have stepped out of bounds.
He would have tripped over a blade of grass at the 5 and fallen at the 1, and that would
right. Quickly, I want to give a shout out we were doing our Thanksgiving shopping. I saw a guy, he was decked out in all Buffalo Bills, an outfit, a jersey, a hat, and everything. So I started talking to him, and he brought his daughter over, and she's decked out. A heck of a nice guy. Ray Sinnett of Orangeburg, New York. Huge Bills fan. Congratulations, Ray, and hopefully I'll see you at the Stop and Shop again. Or was it I don't know which one we were at, but anyway. But Ralph, a couple of bright spots. I thought Will McDonald was pretty good for them.
Will McDonald, 3 or 4 really good plays, and on one of them he got held when he hit the quarterback. He had an earlier one when he had a quarterback hit too. They didn't really notice it, but I saw it, and then he had a terrific run tackle for a loss on a run. So yeah, he's coming. So hopefully he won't catch jet COVID, but it's one thing to look forward to.
Ray, if it was up to you, this Friday national TV game, do you start Tim Boyle?
No, I don't think Tim Boyle did much to impress me. Granted, the line stinks and the game was out of hand, and so all they were doing was pinning their ears back. But I like how he throws the ball better, but he's so immobile that I think Miami's D would be, probably just as bad as this one as far as getting to the quarterback. We need somebody mobile for this week.
How about you, Ralph?
If I had my druthers, I'd start Simeon actually, because he's more mobile and he's had some success in the league. I mean, Wilson, it's so painful, and every announcer, whether it's Troy Aikman or Collinsworth or Romo, they're just joking about this guy, and they're joking about the Jets' offense. And leave the Jets, they're the biggest joke in the league, yet they've won 4 games, so they won't even get a high draft pick, a really high draft pick. You can't ask for a worse scenario.
Well, not so quick, Ralph. We still have a number of games to go. They're 4 and 6. We're going to go through the schedule. By the way, I just want to announce, I don't think with a Friday game we're going to have a preview show. I have to do some traveling to get to where I'm going for Thanksgiving, but we'll probably do one right after the game on Friday. But we will have the 2-Minute Tuesday. But go ahead, Ralph. What were you going to say?
I was going to say, I'm sure the networks are very excited to have that Jet offense on again in the national game.
That's it.
Unbelievable.
You're right there. Just a couple of stats. Zach Wilson, 7-15 for 15, 81 yards, 1 TD, 1 interception. Tim Boyle, 7 for 14, 33 yards, 1 interception. I would start anyone but Wilson. And Ralph brought a good point, Ray. He said, making plans like on Wednesday, announce it, but give the guy first team repetitions for whatever they're practicing, Tuesday or Wednesday. Let the guy go with the first team. I don't care if it's Boyle or I don't care if it's who's the guy?
Simeon.
Yeah, I always mix it up with Simeon Rice, but which we could use him too. But give him first team.
Well,
this thing sticking
of course.
with. Go ahead, Ray.
They're going to make the change. Whether he says it, when he announces it is irrelevant. If they're going to make the change, he better do it right at the beginning of the week and let him do the first team reps. You can't decide that on Thursday he's not going to be the starter and then have him play the game if he isn't practicing with the starters. That's got to be right from the beginning of the week. That goes without saying. And if you had asked me between Simeon and Zach, I might have been more on the Simeon. I'm not big on Boyle starting, but Simeon I think might be a decent option if he ever gets on the field to practice. I don't know how much he gets out there.
Boyle looked like, again, I know it's a small sample size. He got roped into that interception, but at least when he's getting under pressure, he got rid of the ball quick for a couple of small gains.
We made a couple of adjustments pre-snap that made sense.
By the way, I want to talk about that because Ralph had said to me, Ray, about Zach Wilson, his pre-snap adjustments are 0. It's just, Ralph, it's just unbelievable. You were right on when you caught that. It's like every single week. He does no pre-snap adjustment.
Right at a blitzer with nobody blocking him, and he doesn't move anyone over.
And sometimes when you're watching, you're
Jeez.
going, that guy's coming up the middle. You can see it. You're going, they're coming up the middle on him, and nobody's in there to block for him. The guy, whoever's in the back, goes out to the left or the right like a safety valve, which he never uses, and then somebody's coming clean up the middle or off the tackle if he gets by him, and they're on him and nothing flat, and he's running for his life, and that's when he's at his worst, honestly.
Right. I had texted to you guys, we probably didn't see. I mean, the second half, the Bills' secondary was depleted. I would just say bring an extra
Yep.
tight end there to block and just pass on every play. I mean, why run the ball? I mean, it was ridiculous, I thought, you know?
Well, Marty,
Well,
for 3 weeks, I've been noticing that 1 or 2 plays a game. The only time Breece Hall ever gets any running room is if they go around the end. And I
Right.
waited until the middle of the third quarter for them to call that play. He got 7 yards, which is 7 more yards than he got on anything between the tackles because they're waiting for him. And then they never went back to it again. I mean, Ray, is that how can anyone be that clueless? It's mind-boggling.
It's so funny because teams are already watching film of the Jets and go, okay, first down, they're going to run up the middle of the hall, so we'll just pack the middle, and they do, and
Right.
it never changes. It's that way. It's not just the start of the game either. It's like the start of every drive. Okay, let's see if they'll do anything tricky. We'll take our chances. We're gonna make sure Hall doesn't go up the middle for anything, and so we always start out with a 2nd and 8, 9, somewhere in there, and then from there, who knows what's going to happen, because either he gets stacked or an incomplete pass, or if we get lucky, they get some yards and make it a makeable third, which didn't seem to matter today.
No, they can't make makeable thirds. Well, the thing is, when he ran around end for 7 yards, and Romo's going, yeah, now they got to make them. And I'm thinking, 2nd and 3, there's no way they're going to get a first down in the next 2 plays. No way. I don't remember what it was, but of course they didn't. It wasn't even.
Right. Now, Ralph, I don't know how well you watch. I know he got beat on a few plays, but do you think there's any hope for this corner, Warren? Do you think he has potential?
He was struggling at times, but there was one play where he actually picked up 2 different guys because the blocking scheme was so horrible. I don't know whose fault that is, whether it's the quarterback or the offensive coordinator, but he got stuck between 2 guys. I want to watch more of him. I think that down the line he could be a serviceable player. So I'm very curious about him.
Now,
was there any word on Becton?
No
Do we
word.
know what Becton?
I haven't heard anything. We came on before Salah's press conference, but he's not going to say anything either.
No.
Pittman, I'm not sure how he blocked. All I know is when they put Boyle in, some of his hikes were like high.
He did have a couple of high hikes, and Ed Oliver beat him a couple of times head on. But Ed Oliver is really good.
I'm still bullish on him, Ralph Tippmann.
Well,
in
like
the long run.
What?
I think I'm bullish on Tippmann. I think he's going to be good.
I think he's going to be fine, and believe me, he's like right now our only prospect for offensive line next year because we don't know whether AVT is going to be able to be effective for coming back his first year from an Achilles. So yeah, I'm okay with Tippmann, but then I'm drafting any Michael Penix, Marty, in the first round. I'm sorry to say they're going to draft offensive line until the end of time.
Well, you
and one or two might pan out.
You could draft him, but look at the Giants. They're calling Evan Neal a bust. I think it's too early to call him a bust. His 7th round pick from Alabama.
7th pick.
7th overall pick. I'm sorry. Yeah, 7th overall pick. You don't know. It's kind of like a quarterback, and I always love to use the example like one of my favorite all-time Jets because he was always on the field, Brandon Moore, who I guess they signed as an undrafted free agent. He was a defensive lineman. They converted him. So look, if Joe Douglas is still here, he's got a lot of pressure on him.
Yeah, well, and Marty, remember, Andrew Thomas was considered a bust his
Correct.
So I give a guy 2 years, including Evan Neal. Zach Wilson's already had his 2.5, so he's done.
That's right. Yeah, he really has. And
Tippmann's going to put on some weight, which will help him with guys like Oliver too. If you're going to be the center, you got to have a little more weight than he has. So, and he can handle it. He's a big guy, so a few more pounds on him isn't going to affect him a whole lot, but it'll help him fighting off guys like Ed Oliver and those guys in the middle.
I'm just wondering if he's too tall for center, maybe guard is his best position in the NFL, but we'll have to see.
Well, yeah, again, give him 2 years, 2-year rule. Tom Landry's 2-year rule.
Yeah, let's give Brent Boyer some kudos on that fake punt, which was nice. I guess it was Brandon Eccles who caught it. It was a daring call, but they had to do something. So they did it. And I was about to tell you guys, I was ready to change special team coaches, and I know who I want. You ready for this? Don't know his name, but the special teams coach up at West Point Army. Guess how many? Listen to this, Ray. You're gonna love this. Guess how many block punts they've had the last 2.5 years? This year and the 2 seasons before that.
12.
11.
Ray's right, which is phenomenal. Saturday they block.
Ray knows his Army trivia.
They return it for a touchdown.
Well, Marty, I'm excited because I had a Rob Calabrese sighting today. Why is that man still on the Jets payroll?
What is he the quarterback coach?
Is that our quarterback coach?
Yeah, he's been the quarterback coach for 3 years. And look at the progress they've made with the quarterback.
As Romo said, Zach, for the last 5 games, he's been under 3 seconds getting rid of the ball.
Yeah, at the beginning, you're almost talking like Wilson's doing better and the team is moving. And I'm thinking, you're watching the wrong team. They were better early in the year. They have gotten to become a disaster the last few weeks.
You got to watch him, and Ralph brought up the best analogy when they played the Chargers, and their quarterback, what's his name now?
Justin Herbert, yeah.
Herbert, who didn't put up any good numbers, but if you remember, he had like 4 third downs made in the same drive, and that's all you have to know. I mean, Zach Wilson is just totally ridiculous. It's just incredible. I just can't get over it. We're going to have a short show tonight because I can't take it. I just can't take it. So anything
get out on the window ledge.
Yeah, I know. Anything. Believe me, I'm going to go right to the draft simulator right after the show. That's my favorite outlet. Ray, anything else you want to add? Any kudos to anyone or anything else? Oh, one thing. I got to give the referees kudos to them on one play. When this guy pounced on, what's his name, 72?
Clemens, yeah.
Usually it's the second guy that responds, gets the penalty. They did it right. They gave it to the first guy. So
hey, we also got a roughing the passer call.
Got the second roughing the passer in the second game. Which
things are looking up.
That's our best offense,
I know.
The one thing, you guys help me understand. Ray, you're out in Ohio. What is going on with Garrett Wilson? What is it with this guy?
I don't know. I know on the one pass that he dropped, he let the ball get to his body. He's fumbling. He's got to hold on to the ball better. I don't know what else to say on that. But I think they were forcing it, trying to get him the ball too. I mean, on the one of the passes that Romo said that was a great pass. He threw it over one Bill's head, and there were 2 other Bills around him. I'm like, could you have tried to force it in to any smaller of the window? Even if he caught the ball, it would have been an unbelievable catch. But I don't know what Zach even saw. I mean, he threw it up high. I mean, it wasn't a horrible throw, but it was like it made no sense.
Well,
he couldn't go anywhere.
Wilson, and that's he can't see anyone else out on the field. It's like he always was Corey Davis early in his career.
I always said quarterbacks that are good, and I don't know if you guys can understand this. I'm not trying to be brilliant or have a parable, but really good quarterbacks make catchable balls catchable. Okay? Yeah. And Ralph, you always spoke about it, how Zach Wilson has awful touch. He'll fire it right in there. And I'm not saying to have touch on it, but, it's like a baseball pitcher that has a fastball. He has like a slow fastball. He's got a medium fastball. He's got a fast fastball. Zach Wilson has no feel to his throwing. He just doesn't. He
doesn't put touch on the ball. He doesn't throw a guy open. He doesn't read him very well. He just kind of throws it, and you're hoping the receiver can be the one who makes the adjustment and and catches it. Whereas, with Rodgers and guys like that, they put it out there, but they put it in a spot where the guy can, not only is it in a spot that only he can get to it a lot of times, but it's catchable. It's not a fastball. It's just, he throws it where they can get their hands on it, and it's a catchable ball. It's not something they're stretching so far, and he doesn't get them killed throwing it high over the middle or something like that. Like Zach's done that a couple of times.
And
you got to see it. You got to see. You got to be able to see when you're throwing it, what you're throwing at, that you're putting them in a position to make a play after they catch it. With Zach, it's just put it to the area, hope they catch it, and let them take it from there. And good luck. Garrett Wilson, if he didn't have so many awesome moves to get extra yards, would normally be tackled right on the spot, because he isn't put anywhere to keep going after he catches it. He's got to make a dozen moves to get 5 or 10 extra yards.
right, you're right. By the way, last week on the Hail Mary, I had said it was Uzama. It was Tyler Conklin that
Yeah.
Was
the
Conklin.
ball. So I was wrong about that. Go ahead, Ralph. Anything else you want to add before we
I
close?
just got a yes or no question, both of you guys right now. Is Robert Saleh going to be the head coach of the Jets next year, Marty?
It's a tough one right now. I just think that Woody Johnson's going to give him a year with Aaron Rodgers, and I tell you, I can't stand hanging my hat on that guy. You have no idea. If he gets hurt again, it's going to set the franchise back like 5 years. I can't. I hated that guy. Then I got to like him, and now I watched Lazard drop these balls, and I can't stand him again. So I would say yes. How about you, Ray? That's a good question.
That is a good question. And I agree with your response. If it weren't for Rodgers, I'd have said no right off the bat. But Rodgers is the wild card, because if Saleh goes, probably so does Nathaniel Hackett. And if that's the case, that I don't know if I see that happening, because Rodgers, they don't want to piss him off.
Really?
So,
Well,
I would say yeah, only because of that.
somebody. Go ahead,
The year keeps going like it is, and I'm not going to say that they
yeah,
won't.
that's because I'm thinking this is going to devolve into maybe
yeah.
one more win this year.
Let me ask you this scenario, okay? And it could be the best of both worlds, keeping Hackett and get rid of Saleh. What about if they hire a defensive coordinator, Jeff Ulbrich, as the head coach, and they keep Hackett as the offensive coordinator?
I don't like that at all.
I don't like that idea.
Okay, all right.
I don't think Ulbricht's ready to be head coach. I don't.
No, I was with you guys. I was thinking, Aaron Rodgers, he likes Sal, but I'm thinking, if they're going to hitch their wagon to Aaron Rodgers, it doesn't have to be Sal, but they can find someone else that Aaron Rodgers would get along with. I thought Sal was untouchable after Rodgers went down, but I'm thinking now that I think he's going to get fired. It's just so embarrassing.
I'm not going to be surprised.
It's so embarrassing. I mean, this is like Rich Kotite embarrassing. It's been a long time.
But do you guys think that he's being dictated to the personnel playing at all, or do you think he has the final say?
I mean, he put Brownlee and Irvin Charles. They were dressed, but they didn't play. I don't see what choices he has, but it just looks like the team is unorganized. It's poorly coached. There's no discipline. There's no accountability. He's a hand holder, and everyone you got to worry about their feelings. And I can't believe I'm saying this, because a month ago I would have said his job is solid, but you look at his 3-year record, it's horrendous. I mean, how many coaches last this long with that record?
Ralph, it's funny. If you remember when they were interviewing coaches, it was down to like 2 guys. And do you remember who it was? I like the other guy.
And Campbell.
Remember? Yeah. And look how Detroit's doing right now, too. Is that guy Campbell? He wouldn't keep Zach Wilson in there.
No, that guy's tough.
He's tough.
Yeah, Sal is a fine person. I really like him. I hope he does well. but I don't know if he has the mindset to be an NFL head
Yeah,
coach.
yeah, he could be one of those guys that is just a great coordinator, which is
Yeah.
fine. You know, you put your toe in the water,
Sure,
then you
sure.
work out, you go back.
Yeah.
You can have a good career. All right, anything else? Anything else, guys? We're gonna wrap it up
Yeah.
for Ray Clifford and Ralph Schrager, Marty Schupak. And listen, in all sincerity, we want all Jet fans to have a wonderful Thanksgiving with your families. And I mentioned it last time, think about people that have less than you. And look, wherever you are, you could just go to the neighborhood church or synagogue and just ask them, do you have a food bank? One close to your house, and they'll take it, I promise. So I'm Marty Schupak, and we'll see you Friday. Until next time.